Hey everyone, this is Friedel Hakoreja Raven. I'm here with my recap and review of Snowpiercer Season number 3, Episode number 9, which is titled A Beacon for All of Us. This is the penultimate episode. Next week is going to be the Season 3 finale, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen, especially after what was shown in this particular episode. Now, frankly, I would like this show to end with Season number 4. But let's see what the show network and the writers have in mind. Anyway, episode number 9, it opens up with basically showing us that Melanie is still alive, which, I mean, a whole lot of people in the fandom, they just knew that Melanie was alive and the writers couldn't have just killed her off like that. So yeah, she's alive and she's been on her own for like 6 months now, and apparently she has been using suspension drugs in order to time her sleep cycles to survive. She goes to sleep, wakes up like a week or two later, sends a signal, tries to figure out where Snowpiercer is, and then goes to sleep back again. So she has been doing this for like, again, 6 months, close to 200 days. And yeah, she's running out of the suspension chemical, and this is the last of her, the last batch left. So basically after this one, she's not even sure if she'll be able to wake up, and if she does wake up, she won't be able to go back to sleep, and she has no food, nothing, and yeah, it is taking a toll on her body. But Melanie is a stubborn character. She has hope. She cries out for Ben. She talks to Alex. She holds on to hope. And yeah, in the previous episodes, we figured out that Wilford was able to pick up her on the signal. Snowpiercer is on her way to get her, and as the train is on its way, we see Layton trying to put Lyanna to sleep, and it takes time. Basically, Lyanna isn't the type of baby who just goes to sleep if you rock her. So yeah, it takes time. And Zara's like, you know what, Layton, I'll take care of Lyanna now that she's sleeping. You go to the engine. And he rushes to the engine. And yeah, this is where the noticed track tracer, I think that's the name of the little vehicle that Melanie is in. So the track tracer, and they find it, and they try to contact Melanie. They're like, Melanie, can you hear us on the radio? If you can hear us, blink your lights and whatnot. And yeah, they're like, you know what, it's not like, maybe her radio is down. She's not dead, right? She's not dead. But deep down, they're like, you know what? There is a possibility that when we open the vehicle, there's a dead Melanie inside. Even Wilfred is like, yeah, maybe there's just a corpse of her inside. So while that's happening, Bet ended up basically being a thing with Audrey, and yeah, she wakes up because she's like, "Yep, I have a mission to go on. They're picking up Melanie tonight," and this is where Audrey's like, "Okay, Bet, so is there really something happening between us?" And Bet is like, "I'm not really sure. Maybe it's just that we were very, very emotionally open with each other, and that's why this happened. It happens, right?" And Audrey's like, "Yeah, it does, but." This is different. And I'm like, yep, these two need to talk about the relationship status. So Layton and Josie end up going to get the tracer with Ben's help, because Ben is going to use one of the train's arms and just pull the tracer up. However, the chains need to be hooked to the tracer, so it's Josie's turn. Josie jumps on the tracer, hooks the tracer, and they bring it in, and yeah, Melanie's inside, and Melanie is alive, and of course everyone is cheering, and they're also like, you know what, Dr. Pelton, you need to help her. So they take Melanie to Dr. Pelton. She's basically unconscious, and Dr. Pelton is like, you know what, I'll do my work. All of you get out. So thankfully, Melanie is okay. She'll make a full recovery. I think we skipped 3 days, and yeah, Melanie wakes up after 3 days, and she notices Alex sleeping beside the bed. And yeah, this is where the daughter and mother duo, they bond, and Alex basically tells Melanie a whole lot of things that happened in the train. There, she's like, you know what, Snowpiercer defeated Wilfred. It's basically a democracy right now. Layton runs things, but I'm not really sure if it's fully a democracy. And I made a friend, and yada yada yada. And then she's like, you know what? Maybe I'll fill you in later. And Melanie's like, yep, you'll fill me in later. And this is where Alex also tells her mom that she kept her alive in her mind, which we have seen in the previous episodes, where Alex used to imagine what Melanie would say to her during certain instances, and Melanie's like, you know what, I also kept you alive. You were with me the whole time. And then Ben walks in, and Ben is of course happy to see Melanie as well, and he's like, how did you manage this? And Melanie is like, well, first off, I'm very, very stubborn. And then she's like, yeah, and also I had hope. I knew that you would find me, and you guys did. So yeah, basically everyone goes to meet Melanie. And then, except for Ruth, because Ruth goes to meet Roche, and Roche is like, have you met Melanie yet? And Ruth is like, no, her dance card is full. I'll go later. And this is where Roche talks about them passing the pyramids of Giza. I think it's the pyramids of Giza, right? And he's like, my wife always talked about going to vacation to the pyramids, and look at us. After the freeze, we ended up passing these pyramids like twice or three times a year. And yeah, Ruth is like, well, this is hopefully the final time we'll pass them. And this is where Roche is like, you know what? Why don't we make this a party? And Ruth is like, yep, that will up the morale across the train. So yeah, Melanie is back. Let's make this a party. And yeah, they're going to basically bid goodbye to the pyramids for the last time. And then Alex goes to meet Wilfred, and Wilfred, of course, wants to meet Melanie, and he's like, Alex, you need to take me to Melanie. I need to talk to her, and also there's no need for you to thank me. And Alex is like, I wasn't going to thank you. So yeah, even Alex knows this that Wilfred is basically playing an angle, and this is and as she's walking away, Joseph is like, hey, one last time, how steady is your hand? So they do the hand game, and of course Joseph's hand is shaking, and he's like, yep, I walked right into that one, didn't I? And Alex is like, well, you just don't have practice. And Joseph is like, do you even care? Basically taking a jab at Alex, because I think he knows that Alex kind of still loves him, but also hates him, and Alex just walks away. So Leighton, of course, goes to meet Melanie, and Melanie's like, yep, Alex filled me in about what happened. You're running the train. There's this idea of New Eden at the Horn of Africa, and the train is going there. So I guess this kind of works, and also that you're lying to the people. And Leighton is like, yeah, it's a lie, but it is giving people hope. Do you object? And Melanie is like, well, it's not necessarily my place to object to this, since I just came back. And she's like, you know what? Sometimes lying to people works. You just have to make sure that you're right. And Leighton is like, yep, I'm right. We are going to New Eden. And then she's like, you know what? I need you to do me a favor. Get me out of here. So Leighton takes her to the engine. Harvey is there, and Melanie ends up hugging Harvey. And I'm like, oh, that's sweet. So yeah, Melanie's back in the engine where she belongs. And then we cut to Melanie basically going over all of the data that Leighton and his crew collected. And yeah, she sees the Horn of Africa on her screens. And Ben walks in, and he's like, all of this was created on your work. The more data we ended up feeding the system, the more robust we got, the more robust the picture got. And we narrowed it down to the Horn of Africa, where there is a chance that humanity will survive. And this is where Melanie's science brain kicks in. She's like, are you really sure that all of this data is viable? And Ben is like, hey, I went over it, Harvey went over it, Alex went over it, and it works. It works. We need to go to the Horn of Africa. And of course, you can tell that Melanie has her reservations. So we cut to LJ, and LJ is going away somewhere, and Oz is like, hey, where are you going? Can I come with? And LJ is like, no need. If I want you to walk with me, I'll ask. And of course, Oz doesn't listen, and without LJ realizing it, Oz follows her, and he follows her into the market, and this is where he ends up seeing Mrs. Hedwood, basically giving LJ something. It's basically, I think it's something in a vial, and of course, Oz is like, my crazy wife is up to something. So Melanie, of course, goes to meet Wilfred, and she's the one who tells Ben that she needs to go and talk to Joseph. She also tells Leighton that she needs to do this, and Leighton and Ben are, of course, a bit hesitant when it comes to Melanie meeting Joseph. They're like, you know what, he's possibly going to play a game, so don't let him get into your head. And Melanie's like, no, that won't be necessary. I'll just let him talk alone. I'll basically act that I'm open to his opinions, and he might babble out something. So Melanie goes in alone to talk to Joseph, and this is where Joseph is like, yep, Leighton couldn't really put me in a proper cell. He put me here, and he's giving me certain comfort, so occasionally I do some tricks, aka you being one of my tricks. And this is where Melanie is like, okay, Joseph, why the heck did you save me? And Joseph is like, I did what I needed to do because of the predicament that the current train is. I guess you know about Leighton's New Eden idea and the hope that he's giving people, and it's risky, Melanie, it's risky, and I know that you agree with me. He even has Alex in, and even though Alex's brain is basically better than the both of us. She's taken into Leighton's dream right now, and that's dangerous for everyone involved. And yeah, Joseph is like, you know what I'm talking about. You have seen the data. You have gone over the research. Leighton is going to lead the people into trouble because you remember that the track to the Horn of Africa is damaged, right, Melanie? So he's basically planting the seeds of doubt in Melanie's brain, which kind of tracks because yeah, even Melanie knows after going over the data that there's a whole lot of risk involved. And yeah, considering what happened in this episode, Wilfred's play to bring Melanie back, it paid off in his favor. So we cut to Leighton and Ben, and they're like, you know what do you reckon Melanie is doing there, talking to Wilfred? And Ben is like, maybe she's bashing his head with a book. And then this is where these two talk about how Leighton is very happy that Ben is back with Melanie, and this is where Ben advises Leighton that, you know what, I get that you and Zara have decided to co-parent and you aren't going to be together as a couple again, but I know that you love Josie, and you know what, Leighton, take my advice, don't wait around to find the perfect time in order to tell the person that you love them. So yeah, he basically is telling Leighton that he needs to go to Josie and tell Josie that he loves her. So we cut to LJ, and that janitorial woman ends up coming in to meet LJ, and Oz is like, hey, she's not here, we don't want what you're selling, but LJ is like, Oz, just shush. So she ends up handing the woman a vial, and yeah, this is where Oz is like, okay, LJ, what the heck is going on? What are you doing? What are you getting yourself into? And LJ basically takes Oz into their bedroom, and at first she's a bit flirty with him, and then she ends up threatening him. She takes out a knife and points it quite near his crotch, and she's like, you know what, Oz, I thought that you loved me for who I am. I didn't realize that you were going to change me. I thought that you were going to love me, faults and all. And Oz is like, honey, I still love you. And LJ's like, okay, I'll remember that, and also I'm going to warn you right now that when it comes to what I want, if it means that I need to sacrifice the people that I love, I will sacrifice them. So basically it's a threat to Oz to stay in his lane, and I'm like, Oz, you know what, I can't feel sorry for you because you basically brought this upon yourself. You knew that LJ is this kind of person. So Alex is getting ready for the party with Melanie, and this is where Alex tells Melanie about being friends with Carly, and she's like, yeah, but I also used to be friends with LJ, but that didn't work out, and I'm new to this friendship thing, basically, as a grown-up, and I'm not really sure why I'm being very anxious about this. Maybe Alex has a crush on Carly? Who knows? And as these two are talking, this is where the conversation goes towards the Horn of Africa, and Melanie's like, okay, Alex, you have gone through the data, right? What do you think? Be unbiased. Use your scientific brain. And Alex is like, you know what, Mom? What I know is that if I present this data to 10 different scientists, we are going to get 10 different conclusions. So there's that. And also, Leighton has taught me that being hopeful is a good thing, that taking a leap of faith once in a while is a good thing, because, I mean, data basically pointed towards you being dead, 100% dead, but here you are, as some sort of miracle, you're still alive. And Melanie is like, oh, Alex, I'm just happy that you're so happy right now. And I'm like, yep, Melanie's going to do something. So Bess wants Audrey to be her date to the dance, to the ball or the party or whatever. And Audrey is like, no, I'm not really ready to face Leighton and Melanie just yet. And Bess is like, you know what? Forget about it. Let's do our own thing. I have a plan. And I'm like, these two are girlfriends now. So Leighton gets to talk to Josie, and he's like, Josie, I love you. I want to be with you. Zara and I are just co-parenting Liana. And Josie is like, Leighton, do you really think that I don't know that you love me? I love you too. But I can't be with you right now because there's a whole lot of stuff in your plate. There's a whole lot of stuff that I need to take care of. And you need to lead these people off the train and into a new world. So you don't need any distractions. All of your energy needs to be directed towards bringing these people a new home. So we'll talk about being together later. And I'm like, okay. And also, if you guys remember, during the beginning of the episodes, Josie has her own health issues that she's dealing with. So maybe that's why she doesn't want Leighton to get involved in all of that stuff, because basically I guess half of her body is going numb. Or maybe the writers forgot about it. Who knows? So Ruth and Melanie finally hug each other, and Melanie's like, I missed you, Ruth. And Ruth is like, well, I missed you too. So it's time for the party. They're nearing the pyramids. And yeah, the janitorial woman ends up bringing extra snacks to Wilfred's cell, and also the vial of weird chemical is there as well. And you know that Wilfred is going to, yeah, he's going to cause trouble. So Alex ends up introducing Carly to Melanie, and yeah, of course, Melanie recognizes Carly, and yeah, it's a fun little interaction. I really think that Alex has a crush on Carly. So Wilfred ends up taking out this hidden stash of cigars, and he ends up offering a cigar to each guard, and I'm like, don't, but they do. So Bess ended up taking Audrey to the night car, and she's like, yep, I thought that you might want to revisit the car. And Audrey's like, well, this car used to be a big part of me, a big part of who I was, but it's not anymore. It's nothing special. And Bess is like, well, that's the point. The night car wasn't special. You were the one that was special about it. And then these two kiss and they hook up, and I'm like, I'm kind of here for this. I'm not really sure. I wonder what Joseph would think seeing Audrey hooking up with another woman, and especially Bess. And basically having moved on from him. So they're at the party, and Leighton ends up talking to Melanie, and Melanie's like, you know what, Leighton, this isn't right. This isn't right. We shouldn't be lying to these people. We shouldn't be taking them towards a very, very dangerous track. We need to stop this. And Leighton is like, look around you, Melanie. Everyone is happy. Everyone has hope. So we are going to New Eden. And I'm like, uh-oh, this is bad. This is bad. So basically, Leighton told Melanie that he's not going to do what she wants him to do, and due to what kind of character Melanie is, you just know that this is going to spell trouble, and it does. So before Melanie can make up her case, this is where Ruth chimes in, and Ruth is like, we would like to welcome Melanie back into the train, and yada yada yada, and this is the last time we'll be moving past the pyramids, and yeah, we are going towards New Eden, a new hope for humanity, and everyone claps, everyone's happy. And yeah, this is where Oz decides to talk to Roche, and Roche is like, okay, so where's the missus? And Oz is like, I think she's in trouble. I think she's planning something with Wilfred's supporters, and something's going down today. And Roche is like, okay, let's go talk to Leighton. But before they can do that, Melanie has decided to take the communication. She goes into the communication room, and this is where she ends up talking to the entire train, and she's like, you know what, today I saw a very different type of Snowpiercer. I saw a Snowpiercer that was united, that was borderless, and that's a good thing. Everyone is united because of this particular dream of New Eden. However, dreams that are unmonitored, that are uncontrolled, those dreams can cause harm. And today I'm going to tell everyone that New Eden doesn't exist. Leighton was basically lying to all of you about New Eden. Have a good day. And I'm like, wow, Melanie just created a whole lot of chaos in the train. And of course people turn towards Leighton. They're like, why would you lie to us, Leighton? Why would you lie to us? And yeah, Leighton tells Josie to take Zara to Big Alice, and he'll meet them there. And Bess is like, you know what, Audrey, I need to go. And Audrey's like, yep, you need to go and you need to handle this. And Bess is like, well, be careful, keep your head down. I need to go and support Leighton right now. And Ben or Leighton are making their way towards the Snowpiercer engine, but before they can make their way there, Harvey ends up closing the door, and yeah, Leighton and Ben are locked out of the engine. So of course they have no other choice but to go back to Big Alice. And yeah, some time has passed, I think like an hour or something, and Melanie is talking to Ben, and Ben is like, Melanie, why would you do that? You know what, don't answer it, because I know what kind of person you are. You make unilateral decisions, and you had to do this on your own, right? And Melanie's like, I did what was best for everyone. The data wasn't adding up. There's a whole lot of risk when it comes to going towards the Horn of Africa, and yada yada yada. And she's also like, okay, so tell me that Alex is with you. And Ben doesn't answer. And Melanie is like, okay, so what is done is done. So this is Leighton and his crew in Big Alice, and this is where they're like, yep, Melanie ended up betraying us at a very bad time, so we're screwed. And Josie is like, okay, so what's done is done, so how do we counterattack? What do we need to do now? And this is where Leighton is like, well, it's back to the basics, swords and shields. We need to figure out how much support we have from the people on the train, and then we'll move from there, because we are going to New Eden. And then we cut to Harvey and Melanie, and Harvey's like, I can't believe that Ben lied to me. And Melanie's like, it's not about lying, Harvey. It's just that the data on the ground, it didn't make any sense. There's a whole lot of risk involved. And Harvey is like, yep, it's about lying. Everyone lies to Harvey. Poor Harvey. So Melanie's like, you know what? I need to go and talk to Joseph right now, the snake in the grass. So she goes towards Joseph's cell, and yeah, surprise! Joseph isn't in his cell, and the guards that were guarding him, they're dead on the ground. And Melanie gives out this very, very relatable sigh, and I'm like, yup, Melanie, there's a whole lot of trouble for you to face in the final episode of season number 3. So yeah, that was episode number 9 of Snowpiercer season number 3, an enjoyable episode. And if I end up doing a written review of this for the Geekery, the link to the review will be down in the comment section below. Let me know what you thought of the episode. And of course, I'm looking forward to the finale. I think that the trains are going to separate again, and one of them is going to go towards the Horn of Africa, but it's just a theory. So yeah, let me know what you thought. Until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. See you guys later. Bye.